Hi boys and girls, it's Miss Rossi. Today we're going to create a collaged portrait of Frankenstein based on the artwork of Pablo Picasso. What you will be needing today is your Halloween project papers. We don't need the label, so I'm going to take that off. You should have a small light green piece of paper, a small white piece of paper, a small black piece of paper, a light green piece of paper, a bigger dark green paper, and a purple piece of paper. You're going to take those off of the staple very carefully. You might need some help from a parent for that, and we will be using all of those papers today. You're going to need a pencil, an eraser, a marker, or something else to add decorations with. You could use a crayon, a colored pencil, or any other colored marker you have. We're also going to need scissors and a glue stick. Since we are collaging, we're going to be drawing, cutting, and pasting our picture together. I'm going to start by just carefully separating all of my papers. It's okay if they rip a little bit, but try your best to take them apart carefully. I find that if I pull from the bottom and the top at the same time, I can get the least amount of tearing on my paper with the staple. Be extra careful with where that staple is in your paper. I'm going to throw mine in the garbage so I don't get hurt. Now, we saw with Pablo Picasso's portraits that he actually tries to create two faces on the same portrait. So it looks like someone is looking sideways and they're looking straight at you at the same time. We're going to create that same effect with our Frankenstein monster today. I'm going to start with my dark green paper, and I'm going to draw a nice big oval on my dark green paper with my pencil. I want my oval to be nice and big on my paper, but I don't want it to touch the edges. And our oval is like a circle, but it is going to be long and not perfectly round. Since we are making Frankenstein, it's okay if your oval is lumpy and bumpy and not perfect. Now that I drew my oval, I am going to grab my scissor and cut it out. This is going to be the main part of our Frankenstein's head. So I'm just cutting along my pencil line, turning my paper with my helping hand as my right hand opens and closes the scissor. And there is my Frankenstein head. Like I said, it does not have to be perfect since we're making Frankenstein. I'm going to put that shape to the side, and I'm going to grab my light green paper. We're using both of our green papers today to make both of our faces. So our dark green paper is going to be the background of our face, and it's going to be the half of the face that's looking straight at us. Our light green paper is going to show the side of our Frankenstein's face. So what I'm going to do to start is I'm going to grab that dark green paper and I'm going to trace it on my light green paper so I know what size I should be making my head. Now I can decide if I want my light green face to be looking towards the right or towards the left. Whichever way it's looking is going to be where the nose is pointing from. I think I want mine to be looking towards the right. So coming down from the top of the forehead, I'm going to do a curvy line coming down, and it's going to stick out to make a nose almost at a point, except I'm curving back in. I'm coming down and I'm curving out for the mouth, and then back out again for a nice big chin. So this is making the profile view of our Frankenstein. I'm going to grab my scissor, and instead of cutting the entire thing out, I am just going to cut along the line that I just drew and then that one half of the face. So I am starting where that chin is. I am following that curved line that I drew all the way up, wiggling out to get that nose in there. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect because we're making Frankenstein. And I am curving back around to cut out the rest of that head shape. I'm going to put my green scrap to the side with my other one, and I can lay this out on my Frankenstein's head to see how it'll fit. That looks perfect. I'm going to just take my eraser and erase those pencil lines that I can still see. And now I'm going to grab my purple paper. Our purple paper today is going to be our background paper. So this is where we're going to glue our Frankenstein's head and face on. I'm going to start with that dark green shape that I made, and I'm going to put some glue on the back. So I'm winding up my glue stick, flipping that head over, and covering that entire green page in some glue so I know it's going to stick down nicely. I'm going to glue this dark green head right in the middle of my purple paper and massage it down so I know that it's going to stick. Now that my dark green paper is glued on, I'm going to do the same thing with my light green paper, where I am adding some glue on the back, making sure I get that nose and those wiggly parts that stick out like the chin. And I am going to glue that, lining it up so it covers up that dark green edge of the head. All right, now it's time to add some details. I'm going to grab that dark green paper back, and I still have some scraps around the edge here, and I'm going to draw some ears. You can decide if you want your ears to be dark green or if you want your ears to be light green. I'm just going to make a capital D shape to create my ears, and I'm going to have two dark green ears, even though my face is light green on that side. I think I want dark green ears on both sides, but you can pick what you'd like best for your Frankenstein. I'm just going to cut these out with my scissor, following along that line that I just drew that made the shape of a letter D that was capital, and I can place those on Frankenstein's head like that and like that. I'm going to grab that light green small piece of paper that I had saved in my paper pile, and I am going to make a neck for my Frankenstein. So I'm just going to hold this green paper up and decide how big I want Frankenstein's neck to be by just drawing two straight lines on that rectangle. I'm just going to snip along those lines with my scissor, being careful that I don't cut my fingers. And I'm going to glue my neck and my ears on. For these, I'm going to add glue on the side where I can see the pencil lines, so then I won't see them once they are glued down and I don't have to worry about erasing them. I am just going to glue that neck so my head is now connected to the bottom edge of my purple paper, and I'm going to stick on those ears. Now I can see that my neck is hanging off the edge just a little bit, so I'm just going to grab my scissor and carefully cut along that line. You can leave it hanging off if you would like. You don't have to do that step. I'm going to put the cap on my glue stick for right now, and I am going to grab my black paper so I can add some hair to my Frankenstein. I'm going to hold my black paper so it is horizontal, meaning it is longest going from left to right. I'm going to hold that up around the top of my Frankenstein's head. I think I want mine to have spiky hair. So from this top corner of my black paper, I'm going to come down and draw a big zigzag line to make spiky hair. I'm going to draw that zigzag line all the way across and bring it back up to the other corner of my black paper. Now this might be too big for my Frankenstein's head, so we'll give him a haircut if we have to once we're done. I'm going to cut out carefully along that zigzag line, and now I have some spiky hair that I can add on top of my Frankenstein. I'm going to put the rest of my black paper to the side, and I'm going to see how well this is going to fit. So it looks like I need to cut a little bit off the sides. He's looking like he's got some extra hair. So I'm just going to bring this edge of my zigzag line up and do the same thing on that side, and then just trim off those extra bits of hair. There we go. I'm going to add some glue to this side where I can see those pencil lines, and then stick it down on top of my Frankenstein's head. So I lined up that top edge of my black paper with the top edge of my Frankenstein's head, and now he has some hair. I'm going to grab the rest of that black paper again, and this time I am going to make a mouth. So I'm going to do a big circle mouth for my Frankenstein, but you can decide what kind of shaped mouth you would like, what kind of expression your Frankenstein is making. I drew that circle with my pencil first, and now I'm just going to use my scissor and cut it out. Once I lay it on my paper, if you think it is too big, you can always trim around the edge of it to make it a little bit smaller so that it fits your face better. But again, since this is a Picasso portrait, our shapes don't have to be absolutely perfect. I'm going to grab my glue stick and glue my mouth on my Frankenstein. making sure that the pencil side is facing down so I don't see it. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab that white paper and I'm going to draw some eyes for my Frankenstein. I'm going to do 2 big circle eyes. It's okay if they are not the same size circle, and I'm just going to cut those out with my scissor. I'm going to glue on my eyes, adding some glue on the side where I can still see those pencil lines. And while I have my white paper, I can also add some teeth. So I am going to cut out some rectangles and squares to make some teeth. You can decide if you want pointy teeth or square teeth. It's totally up to you. I'm just going to cut out all these teeth and glue them inside my mouth. Now that I got my teeth in there, I'm going to draw a circle inside both my eyeballs, and then a second circle that is even smaller in there to give my Frankenstein some eyes. So we're going to have the colored part of the eye, which is the iris, and then that centerpiece is going to be the pupil, which is the black part of our eyeball. So now my Frankenstein is starting to come to life. He needs some eyebrows to go with those eyes. So I'm going to grab my black paper again, and I'm going to draw some spiky eyebrows to match my Frankenstein's hair. So I'm just going to do a straight line across the top and then a zigzag line down at the bottom. And I'm going to make 2 of those, one for each eyebrow, and cut those out. So there is one funky looking eyebrow and another. And you can decide how you want your eyebrows positioned. Maybe you want to face your spikes up, or maybe you want to place them down. Maybe I'll do one of each. That looks pretty cool. I'm going to add some glue on the back of those so they stick. I'm going to take that black piece of paper back, and I'm going to add those little bolts that Frankenstein has around his neck. So to do that, I am going to draw 2 rectangles. I'm going to start by drawing a rectangle that is going out, and then at the end of that rectangle, we're going to have another one going more up and down. So it is going to create, I don't know if you can see that on my black paper, but it's almost like a sideways capital T. So you have a rectangle going out and then a rectangle going up and down. I'm going to draw 2 of those because I need one for each side of his neck. And I'm going to cut that out just along the border edge. So I want to cut it out as one big shape instead of as 2 rectangles. So when you're left, you should have a shape that looks like this. It's going to go right down there on the side of his neck. And another one. I still have some scraps of dark green and light green paper here. So I'm actually going to do that colored part of the eye with my extra pieces of paper. So on this dark green, I'm going to draw a circle and cut it out. And I'm going to give my Frankenstein some green eyes. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. And I'm just going to glue that right in there. And I think on the dark green side, I'm going to use my light green paper. And then I can use the scraps of my black paper to make the pupil, that black part of our eye. Now, if you don't have extra scraps of paper left, instead of cutting out these circles, you can always draw them with a marker. And that is the collaged portion of my Frankenstein all finished. I'm going to clean up all my paper scraps because I don't need those anymore. We always want to clean up after ourselves so we can continue to do more messy projects like this one. Now we can take our marker and our pencil and add any kind of details and decorations on our paper. I'm going to go in with my pencil first, and then in just some spots on my Frankenstein's face, I'm going to add some lines. I'm going to draw a smaller shape inside the ears and just add some more marks here and there. And then you can decorate the background however you would like. If you have some extra space on your purple paper, you can always add some other decorations back there. If you want to draw more Halloween pictures in the background, you can. I'm just going to trace over these pencil lines that I just drew. So I'm filling in the ear, and I'm tracing over these little detail lines. You can always add more little decorations on your Frankenstein's face. It's totally up to you how you would like it to look. And then I think I'm just going to draw some stars and put some dots in the background of my Frankenstein. But again, you can decorate yours however you would like. And that is my Frankenstein collage Picasso portrait all finished. So today we got to have a lot of fun making a Halloween themed project where we got to learn about Pablo Picasso's artwork, we got to collage, and we got to practice layering different shapes to make a more detailed design. So we cut out all of our different shapes using our papers today and layered them on top of each other to make our overall portrait. Once you are finished, I would love to see the collage that you've made, so make sure you upload a photo or video of your project on my Canvas assignment page so I can see it. I hope you had fun with today's project. Have a safe and happy Halloween. Try your best, have fun, and get creative. I'll see you guys next week. Bye!